Oh, holy crap, man. Hey, what's going on? I'm in discombobulated today, man. I'm telling you. Uh, got you now, guys. I know you can hear me now. Anyways, I hope you can hear me now. Give me a radio check. Radio check. Radio check. We got it now, right? 10-4. I hope so. Let me do a quick on the audio check, check, check. Yeah, it should be good. You guys got me now, right? There we go. Yeah. All right. Anyways, uh, what I was saying is I got lost. I was reading the news and by the way, howdy everybody. Jamie, Jeff, good to have you on here. Dougie, Randy, nice to have all you guys. Eric, what's going on, man? Johnny, Fearborn, good to have you, buddy. And Burrito Dougie, man, is that I think Friday Burrito Dougie or just Dougie Burrito Dougie? I don't know. We'll figure that one out, man. That last one you posted on Friday, dude, that probably was like I think all the basic food groups and enough to feed a family of four or one Dougie. But it was a monster, man, monster looking burrito. It inspired me to go into town and get one of those things, man. I'll tell you, it looked pretty good. But I was, anyways, reading the news, just checking all this stuff out that's going on all around, and in the media world, man, it's just shaken up big time. So, KNBR in San Francisco have been around forever and ever and ever, and they've been slowly whittling down their fantastic radio staff, and the latest casualty over there, Tommy Tolbert, who's been there forever. Tom Tolbert been. I mean, if you guys are Bay Area radio fans, any of you, and you watch on the playback, most of the guys in the show right now, I don't think you guys were around this part of the country to hear them, but KNBR was known as the 50,000 watt flamethrower, and of course, still a standard in today's ratings of radio and power. I mean, 50,000 watts. But Tom Tolbert was let go just last week, and they're moving the station out of San Francisco to Levi Stadium, and they're going to be broadcasting from Levi Stadium. KNBR will be whatever it turns into. I don't know, but there's some really classic radio personalities in the sports, and it was sports radio too, by the way, guys. So it was something I listened to in the truck all the time when I was local and just running, seasonally around the Bay Area, the Valley, my home area. And it's just sad to see what's happened. Um, radio, radio as a whole has just almost gone away. And I mean, with the advent of streaming, which to our advantage, we can stream and this for the old guys like me. If you had your hometown radio station that you grew up on, whatever that was, for music, for news, for sports, for whatever, um, then you have those call letters embedded in your mind forever. Jeff, you can attest to this because you probably know if I said KMBY, you'd know right off the bat what I'm talking about, or KLRB. And those are stations that were in Monterey and Carmel, California standards for years. KMBY been around since I was a kid. I used to listen to KMBY, Bay Area, Monterey, back in the 60s, So anyway, yeah. Yeah, good point. Hey, Brandy, thanks for bringing me back, buddy. I'm going to show that right now, and I'll tell you. So this bomb weather, this bomb cyclone, as they call it right now. In fact, I'll show you guys right now. Just a quick take the fun out of it. But there it is, man. That's Southern Oregon right now. The Siskiyous are closed, north and southbound over the Siskiyous shut down. So there are ways in. You can come around, and if you know the area, you can come out of Weed, California, which is right here on the 5, and grab the 97, take it up and on over to K Falls. There is a scale right up here, so be aware of that. And then you can take that all the way down and drop into back onto the 5. Now, if you want to continue on and go north, it looks like there's hazards, but not closures. Looks like 97's open. that'll take you all the way to Springfield, if I'm not mistaken, and that's where I used to drop into when I was hauling up north and going up into Seattle for reasons that included I needed to go through the least noticeable entries, points of entry. Let's put it that way. Anyway, Siskiyou's closed, and all these X's. And here, I'll open up a camera. We can get a look at it. Well, looks like it's clearing, so that's a good sign. At 1 o'clock this afternoon, this was all covered in snow, and I mean the road was totally covered in snow. But you will notice there's no cars, so they haven't opened it up yet. I'm gonna find us another camera to look at and see what's going on. Yeah, it's just closed, man. So let's get the camera. Yeah, images currently unavailable. That's not a good sign. But the only ones we got working right now, I-5 at Siskiyou, milepost 10.8. So that is south of Ashland, up on the road somewhere, not very high up. Because I guarantee you, this, if they're still closed, then and there's Ashland. So there's all the trucks. Everybody's pulled over and waiting to get clearance to go up. This is the chain section, but they're not letting anybody out. So, and of course, you look at this side over here, and you can tell there's nobody coming down either. And that tells you the whole story. The rest of the road into California and all the way down into the lower area, the Redding and Red Bluff and that, it's all open. So no problem. So Shasta, apparently no big deal going on there. Oh, there you go. Black Butte. That's looking a little bit snowy. So there's definitely some snow showing. And same thing up here. Another one temporarily. Let's see what's going on at the scale. And maybe that should be road cam. Black Butte, weeds. So Black Butte, maybe that is the Dunsmuir area right there where the scales are at, and that could be that area. Anyway, anybody trying to get into Oregon or out of Oregon, forget about it for now, man. It's it's closed. And listen, and Jeff, for information, so Trip Check, you can load that app on your phone, and you can get around anywhere you want to go. And just to take a quick peek and going north where, it's supposed to be the big mess, and that is up in Washington. That doesn't look like there's any closures or any kind of slowdowns other than the traffic, the usual stuff that's going on. You get in here around Portland and start making your way up into Washington. Puyallup, love that. How do you say that? That's it, Puyallup. But it's all clear up there, man. So the big damage, and that's the Siskiyous, at least for now. Also, the Siskiyous, that is the highest point in elevation on Highway 5, Siskiyou Summit. And let me bring it back down here in case you guys are wondering. So here's the Siskiyous. Grants Pass is the nearest big town that I live next to. I'm actually over in this area right here right now today for a little while longer, not much longer, but I will be in Grants Pass permanently before long here. But just another day, and it's interesting because winter, I mean, gosh, winter, it happened like this week. Last week, it was fall. And I remember saying that on the show. Just another fall in Oregon, but a couple things happened, man. Winter came, had a little bit of snow here at my place. Nothing that was anything that stuck. It was just mixed into the rain. But the temperatures, now that the rain's solid here right now, like it's 40 degrees out, and it's been pouring for 3 days straight, and we're looking like rain the rest of this week and into all of next week. We don't look like we're having any snow going to hit us yet. But the nice thing is the temperatures have come up a little bit. For us, that's 40 degrees or so. As long as it stays away from freezing, although it can drop into the high 30s and still snow. So if that happens, it happens, but I'm hoping it doesn't for right now. I need to get out of here next week and get on down to Cali for Miss Julia and Thanksgiving. So that's what's happening here in Southern Oregon. And Randy, thanks for bringing that up, because I was definitely off on another deal there, and I wanted to talk about it. But we'll check these again before I go. Jeff, you asked if I'm still a trucker. I think once a trucker, always a trucker. But I don't drive for a living anymore. Stopped doing that when I moved up here in 2006. So it's been a while. Kept my commercial license until I think 15 or 16, and then there was no reason for me to have it anymore, so I don't have a CDL any longer. For good or for bad, for whatever, I just don't. But don't need it, to have it. The medical part of it, you got to make sure you're able to pass that, and that wasn't. In fact, I got cleared. I was going to go ahead and renew when I moved back up here. I got everything done and went to California DMV and Oregon DMV, and I'd gotten 2 stories. Bottom line, what it came down to is I would have to go and retest everything from like day one. Like I'd have to go in and do the driving test, the written test, and now you have to have so many hours of training apparently by federal law. So I weighed it all out and said, you know what? I'm just, as much as it would be a good thing to have for what I was doing at the time, nah, probably not. Don't need it. Not going to bother. So I just went ahead and got my Oregon driver's license renewed, and I'm good to go. But I think, like I said, once a trucker, always a trucker. And I mean, if you're behind the wheel every single day, and you're a owner operator, it's not just a job, man. It's a lifestyle. It is 24/7, and it was for me when I was doing it. You guys that are driving all the time, it's a lifestyle for you too. I mean, if you're long hauling, especially, man, it's just it is what guides you and controls everything that you do, because you're so tied to what it takes to make that truck make money and in turn pay you. So, yeah, you gotta keep the truck running. Some of us care what it looks like and smells like and all that. So, we were cleaning the inside and the outside and all that all the time. And when winter comes, we just kind of throw our hands up and go, all right, winter owns me for a while. And that's how that works until you get out of the winter back into spring, and then you can start kind of thinking about running a clean truck, at least if you're running up here. California is a different deal. California, you get a lot of breaks there in the weather. Even in the wintertime, guys are still looking good and shiny and clean, tires all buttered up. It's a whole different ecosystem down there. Mike, what's going on, man? Mike's in the show. Karen, hi, Karen. How are you? That is Miss Julia's daughter there joining us, I think, for the first time, maybe. But good to have Karen on the show. Be looking forward to seeing her next week. And Pete Anderson, what's going on, buddy? Good to have you in there. And who else we got? Brandon, what's happening? Brandon Chase, everybody say howdy to Brandon. Brandon's in there, and always good to have Brandon join us. Randy stirring it up. Yeah, I'll show you guys here something that I shared with everybody in my world, in my personal world of social media. And I don't do stuff to stir it up. I really don't. But I saw this one and I thought, I like it because it has the right colors and the right message, and I share it, and for the most part, I think like 98.9% of the comments are positive, whether it's, all about America, go, 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 like I initiated it on the post content, which was, all of us together go in the same direction. Let's do that, right? Well, there's still some of us that just can't, for whatever reason, see that, and it's sad to me that that's what happens. And it just and thanks, Randy. Yeah, and actually, just I did a little touch up on that. If you notice on here, because this is not my graphic, I stole this and then I added that to the engine on there for the engine sign. But I think for the most part, there's a lot of people that are getting and going in the right direction. They're like, let's do what the country was supposed to have done 4 years ago, which was everybody get together, everybody join, everybody go back to being Americans. Well, that didn't happen. I think it's happening now. I think sanity is at rule, and I think common sense is at rule, and I think that there's very strong passion from everybody to unite and get going the same way here, because there's all kinds of layers to the onion, right? And it doesn't mean that we can't all enjoy or simply just be accepting of each layer, and just, if it's not for you, it doesn't mean you'd have to show up for dinner. It just means that's them, this is me, I'm what I do, and I'll do me, you do you, right? And that doesn't hurt anybody. And I don't know, man. Yeah, Jamie, soon, right? And I think you're right. Yeah, not yet, but soon. And I think it's all going to happen here in good time. I mean, listen, the new administration is just forming, but boy, is there a lot going on. Not like I've ever seen before, ever, frankly. And I've kind of been paying attention to this stuff for a while, and it seems like this is just an incredible, um, you know, uh, uh, I don't know what to call it, movement, direction that we need to go, places we've got to get back to. Here's one for you. The Redskins football team is actually talking about being the Redskins football team again. The guy that drew the picture of the chief on the side of the helmets, the emblem, the Indian chief that represents the Redskin logo, that artist was commissioned to draw that, and that is a real Indian chief. And the Indian tribe who he was chief of, they're still around. They sanctioned it. They said, yeah, please keep him. That's our guy. So, yeah, I don't know. Jamie, I again, man, good input, man. Kind of worried about the Fox News fix. You know what? It's not the norm. Let's put it that way. But can it be not worth trying out? I think it's worth trying out. I think Pete Hegseth is an incredible guy with a young mind, and has a lot of background of tactical and otherwise patriotic drive to do the best possible job. And that's, to me, having the right tools. Yeah, okay. Normally there's guys that are being groomed to go into these positions, but that's, I think, what the beauty of this administration is going to be, is it's going to be a back to roots administration made up of you and me and people like us. Whether you served in the Army or any of the armed forces or not, but we'll see. I mean, and listen, think back 4 years ago too, before when Trump was president. Not everybody that was appointed or put in positions stayed in those positions. So we'll have some place here to start and see where it goes. And I think that bottom line is, if they don't produce as advertised, I don't think there's going to be any time like test drive that lasts very long. I think Beans, this is an experienced guy, and people around him are experienced. They've been here, they've done this before. They know to get in, get things done. They got 4 years to do it, and then that's it. They're out. And hopefully there's a administration coming in behind them that's ready to pick up the reins and carry on the the movement. But I think that anybody that's not producing, it's going to be short-lived. They're going to be asked to leave, and the new person will be inserted. Unlike this current administration that would, ride that horse till it died, man. And whether it was getting you there down the trail or not, and plenty of them were not. So I think there's a lot to be said about that. In other stuff that's going on, if you got Gavin Newsom of California, the governor of California, reaching out to try to talk to Donald Trump, you think there might be some thoughts going on in certain people's heads that it might be a good time to start kind of building those bridges back that we burned, and see if we can't get things together again, man. That to me is a pretty good sign of the times. And Elon and Revik, yeah, awesome picks, man. I think there's an opportunity here for a lot of good to happen. I'm not so sure on the transportation secretary. Buttigieg at least is gone, and there's going to be somebody else in there. Hopefully there'll be good advisors, people that are in the industry. Hey, by the way, I got an email notification about OOIDA. Something was happening, shutting down or just shutting down their trucks showing up at things through the end of the year. I couldn't quite pick all that out, and I was a little concerned, honestly. I used to be a member of OOIDA, a really great organization during my time of being a member. I loved the consortium that they had for attorneys because I got tickets, go figure. And they took care of them, every single one of them. It was an extra cost beyond your normal membership that you paid. But boy, let me tell you, well worth it. Super valuable. I would say, and if anybody out there is not part of some kind of a drivers organization or consortium of some kind, you might want to look into it, because the value's there. Just find the right one that fits for you. I don't know if OOIDA is still on track as they were back when I was driving, but they were great, man. They were a fantastic organization to belong to at the time. So I can't say enough good things about them. Randy, what's that? I've got rid of all the crooked politicians. We would have many anyways, and no matter what side they're on. Well, that's true, but listen, there's no perfect, one side or the other, but it is what it is. Okay, so everybody listen up. Not going to do a show spoiler, but if you're a Yellowstoner, you might want to just, do the plug your ears just in case something comes out that might, mess it up for you. But I'm just going to say first, I'm not impressed so far. Yeah, we're what are we, 2 shows in? I am not impressed. You destroy a show when you are left to kind of piece it back together after the main, and Kevin Costner was the main character in that show. That guy was it. And to just, do what they did to fix the story and make it so that they had some sort of storyline, to continue on without him. I don't know. And listen, I'm not saying as to what they put in place, as to the cause, but just the whole thing. Anyway, I will say Beth is still Beth, and that's good, because she's going to need to be. And there's going to be some things that are going to happen, I'm sure. And listen, Taylor Sheridan didn't get to be the guy he is by not being able to write a story. Anybody watch Tulsa King? Tulsa King, I guess that was the season finale. I just watched it on Sunday night. Sly Stallone and a few others in there that they're really, an unknown cast aside from him. But what a great series. There's 2 seasons of it. Highly recommend Tulsa King. If you haven't seen that, it's on Paramount Plus, so you got to have Paramount Plus to watch it. I think that's the only way to see it. But yeah, it's a great one, man. And then what's the guy, Landman, with what's his name in there? Landman. That one's I just started watching that. Yeah, Eric Hill. There you go. Yeah. Landman, new Taylor, another Taylor. I mean, Taylor Sheridan, I think it's kind of like if you're in the TV network business and you have to have a series that people are going to watch, everybody, if you're not calling Taylor Sheridan, you're just not on the spectrum of doing anything right now, because that dude has got more shows and scripts and everything else to be a part of, man. Yeah, Billy Bob Thornton. Billy Bob's sure gone weird. I mean, listen, he wasn't exactly the most stable of guy before, but remember when Angelina Jolie and him were an item? I think they were married, right? And they wore a vial of each other's blood, and that was like the big, deal. That couple was almost as weird as and I can see him in my mind here. I'll think of it anyway. It'll come to me in a minute. But they were another odd couple. He's a country singer, and she's a mainstream actress. But around that same period of time, and I think it was like a competition to see who could have the most oddball couple, and Julia Roberts and Lyle Lovett. That's what I was trying to think of. I don't know if you guys remember that or not, but another strange one. Not wearing each other's blood in a vial around their neck, but just a strange, odd couple. And they got their miles in together, and then that was that. And the same thing with Billy Bob and Angelina Jolie. So, but there's a bunch of other shows on the Paramount Network that are Taylor Sheridan shows that are really fantastic. And I'm sure if you guys are all in here, you all pay attention. You all know what I'm talking about, all the good shows that he's put out that are on there. But Yellowstone, for my money right now, I don't know. I don't know. What do you guys, I mean, Jamie, I don't know about the be back or it will, he ain't going to come back, man. That I think it's just at this point, because I had the same, I was thinking, what if this is just like a big ruse, and he's going to come back and go, haha, fooled y'all, I'm not dead. I don't think so, man. I don't think so, because they give you the backstory of Jamie's girlfriend and the whole setup of how that whole suicide supposed thing is going to happen or does. And I don't know, man. I don't think that I think he's done. There's no way for him to come back. And I think it's going to be a matter of, what's going to be left at the end of this series of the Dutton Ranch, of the Yellowstone Ranch, and the Dutton family and the legacy and all that, man. That's where it's, shaking. Everybody's kind of shaking their heads. Yeah, Ron, I don't think so, man. I don't think he's coming back. Ron's got the same feeling. I don't think he's coming back either. But I think, here's what I think Taylor Sheridan needs to do, man, is I think he needs to give us a good trucking show, man. Those have tried. Jamie. Oh, brother, gonna share that one, man. There you go. Listen, man, I feel you. I don't have that problem because Miss Julia is not here in Oregon. She's still in California, but I totally get it, man. And there's like a whole, and it started, I think, before Halloween, all the Hallmark and Lifetime and all those channels just started piling in all their seasonal shows that they do. And I mean, it's like, oh my gosh. I'm not watching any of it, dude. But here's what you got to have, man. Christmas Story. That's different, Randy. That's a good one, man. I'll always watch Christmas Story. That's just a classic. funny show, and it never gets old. Jamie, you got to have your phone and earbuds, and you can have your hands big enough, you can probably almost palm your phone. Nobody will even know you're watching on your phone while she's up to her neck in Hallmark Channel, and that's your out, brother. You can definitely make your way back from that doing it. T-Dub, what's going on, man? Good to see you. Good to have you in the show. You know what? I mean, we're not there yet, and I hate going like into Christmas and it's not even Thanksgiving. I want to focus more on Thanksgiving, but I got to say this much. There's a couple of movies that I always will consider Christmas movies. And Bruce Willis, Die Hard, Mel Gibson, Danny Glover, Lethal Weapon. And there's a couple more that you just, there are those movies, and those came out, that's for us. That's back in the 80s. So, some of us here in the group know that, and probably reflect on that and watch those same movies every Christmas. I know I do. The other ones out there, you guys name a few that you like. I mean, I'm sharing all my favorites with you. In fact, here the crummy thing about it is the damn channels right now, you can watch Die Hard for free on a couple of different ones, right? Mark my words, come Christmas time, they're going to put them out there, and you won't be able to watch them for free. I think they should make those movies. If you're signed up and you've got one of the pay deals, then you should be able to have those movies. All right, listen, I'm surprised I have gone this far without bringing it up, but here goes, man. Who watched Friday night, Tyson and Paul? Yeah. Who tried to watch the fight Friday night, but couldn't because Netflix was crashed? And you guys are going, sure, John, you're in, Southern Oregon, man, and middle of nowhere, right? And we had maybe 30 seconds and not at a critical time of any point during the entire broadcast did we lose the broadcast. So we didn't have those problems. We started, I was watching on Facebook and paying attention. I wanted to see what everybody had to say about this thing. And so I was looking at Facebook and social media, and that's when I found out there was all these problems. But let me back up. So, all right, on the card, there was 3 other fights. Serrano, the 2 gals that fought, Serrano and I don't remember the other one's name. She won that fight. I don't care what anybody says. They took that fight away from her. She should have been given that fight. She won it. And so that in itself was just a head shaker for all of us watching the fight together. We're like, did the judges see the same fight we just saw? Because she won that fight. The other gal was the champ. She beat her up, man. She fought, and that gal fought with heart and everything else. She was, oh man, she was badass. And her eye, I mean, she had a cut on her left eye that was like, her eye was cut right here and it was hanging down and wide open, and she's still going at it, man. I mean, she's a badass. Yeah. Women fighting was awesome. Rock'em sock'em, Jamie. Absolutely, man. Hey, Annette, how's it going? Yeah, it is cold outside. I don't know what it's doing down in Riverdale, but we're 40 degrees here in Southern Oregon today. So that fight was really good. The other two, actually, I don't even remember that much of those other two, the other 2 guys that fought, but the 2 gals, holy crap, they were awesome. Now, okay, so going into the Tyson Paul fight, how many of us thought that this was going to be a real fight? I mean, as real as you can be, given that we've got who we've got fighting. I mean, you got Mike Tyson, 58 years old. Is that the end of everything? No, it's not. And I'm going to tell you why in a minute. Jake Paul, another YouTube guy. Okay. And let me explain something. MVP, Most Valuable Productions, and that's Jake Paul's production company. His production company put this fight on. So, and I didn't know any of this until I started digging in during the fight. I'm going, what the hell's going on here, man? Because the Tyson we all saw in all of the reels and promotions and everything that was out before the fight of him working out with a sparring partner and training and doing everything, dude had his moves. He still knew and could do what Tyson does. It was all there. All of it. It was all there. And then the fight starts, and it's like, first round, he hit Paul one time, and that was it. And after that, it was like he's biting his glove, he's stopping when he's got a shot, and he could have just knocked the crap out of him, and not doing it. Nothing, zero. And so that's when I started digging in and trying to find out what, who, what, where, and when. Okay, so MVP Productions, that's Jake Paul. This is his script. This is his movie. Yeah, Ron, right? Tyson was moving like Biden. No joke, man. It was pretty ugly. This thing was scripted. And I don't mean like, okay, I know when to hit you, you know when to hit me, and I know when to duck you. I mean, it was told up front, and then I think Tyson was reminded in the ring by Jake Paul, dude, if you want to get paid, you need to go 8 and not knock me out. And whatever bullshit that Jake Paul says about how he could have taken Tyson out, whatever, nah, sorry, buddy. No. That fight went the way it went because there was $40 million that Jake Paul was paying himself and $20 million he was paying to Tyson. That's why the fight went the way it went. Now, that's the number they're telling everybody. I hear rumor that there's more for both of them, but that's just what they're telling everybody. That's what's coming out, is that it's a 40-20 split. So 40 million, 20 million. But Tyson has to, last all 8 rounds. Can't knock out, obviously, if he's going to last 8 rounds, he can't knock out Jake Paul. Fight over. And honestly, I think that fight could have been over in the first or second round if Tyson wanted it to be. Absolutely. And I don't know if any of you watched his brother, Logan Paul, isn't that his name? But he's another one that, him and Nate Diaz were talking, and I didn't know the timeline of all this stuff. So I've just started kind of, getting more clear on all this. But apparently, Jake Paul fought Nate Diaz and beat Nate Diaz. Again, I don't think so. Another show. And listen, I'm going to say this too up front. I don't care if it's a show. Just tell me that going in. Like, okay, we're going to do this exhibition. Nobody's allowed to knock anybody out, but, we're going to let it be as aggressive under that, stipulation as we can and see what happens. Okay. Tell us that up front. Are they under any obligation to tell us up front that they are not going to have a real fight and that it's like WWFE, whatever you want to call it. It's decided who's going to win before you go in the ring. It's entertainment. Okay. Was this fight entertaining to me? No, it wasn't. I had fun because I was with some friends of mine that are some of my best friends, and we had a great time because of that, but not because of the fight. And it was just fun yelling at the fight and watching the preliminary bouts and the girls fight. Those were entertaining. The Tyson Paul fight was just a big disappointment. And I've never seen Mike Tyson look the way that he looked. And for Mike Tyson, you've seen Mike Tyson angry. You've seen him, where he's just like pissed off at the world. Yeah, we've seen that. Well, I'm not sure if that was there or if it was being medicated so it didn't come out. And that's supposedly part of the, the glove biting thing was him keeping himself under wraps so they didn't lose himself and knock the crap out of this guy and ultimately lose the money. He would have avoided the contract. Mike Tyson at his peak was worth $300 million. And that's a figure that they throw out there and say, yeah, that's how much money he had at his peak. And it's all gone. He's worth before the fight, supposedly, net worth $10 million. That was his net worth. Now he's worth 30 million if that net worth was true and accurate, and the amount that he actually got paid, he's worth 30 million. That's 10% of the 300, way up here peak that he had, but it's better than it was. It puts him in a better, more comfortable position in life. I think there'll be some things that come his way from this that he'll make money off of. Maybe we're not done with this, and probably there's probably a non-disclosure. Daniel, yeah, thanks, buddy. Jake's fighting Chuck Norris next. Yeah, I don't think so, but okay, man. Anything. Hey, anything's possible, right? Put enough zeros behind it, and you might get that. It might happen, but I'm betting there was a non-disclosure on this fight in the contract as well that stops Mike from coming back later and saying yeah, the whole thing was bull and it was fake and I was under contract to do like I did and that's why it went the way it did. I wish it would come back and Tyson say, you know what, if you want to have a real fight, you little punk, and pay me again, let's do that and then let's see what happens. Because I think that's where it's at, man. I don't think there's a long game here for this to continue with Jake Paul and his production company. I mean, do you guys? I don't think there is. We've seen this. It's a one-trick pony. So the next time that Jake Paul is scheduled to have a fight, I think we all know what we're going to get. We're going to get another dog show. And that's because that's how it's scripted, and that's the way it's going to be. Hey, Jed, how you doing, man? Driver Et, what's going on, darling? And congrats on the new truck to you. Non-disclosures, do those work? Ask Trump and Storm. Yeah, well, and Jamie, that's a good question. Non-disclosures, they're supposed to, and yet judges can rule on them and set them aside. I don't know. Did that happen with that case? In fact, that's funny. That case was talked about again today because Alvin Bragg, the district attorney that's prosecuting Trump in that case, wants to shelf the whole thing and set it aside until 2029 when Trump's no longer in office. And then, whatever happens. I don't know. Anyway, another bunch of bull. And I hope that case goes away as well as any of the other ones that are out there that were being brought on him to basically take away time from a guy that wants to do nothing but good things for people in this country, man. And I'm sorry, I know there's some out there that really just think the guy is not who he professes to be or that we see, and that's too bad. Dig deep, man. Dig deep. Everybody makes mistakes. I'm not saying the guy's perfect. I'm just saying there's a lot of good things that he's done for a lot of people, and a lot of people don't know that because he doesn't sit there and wave that flag. He waves the American flag and wants us all flying under that. And I'm all aboard on that one, man. So, John, did Tyson put Jake in the hospital in practice? I don't know. I don't know. I think if that had happened, it would have been part of the show again. I mean, I don't know. Listen, and I'll tell you what, a lot of you that didn't get to see the fight before, you can go back and watch it now on Netflix. It's on there and you can watch with no interruptions. It's all perfect. I don't know if they've edited it or if they're letting it fly the whole thing, the whole event, the way it was broadcast. But if they edited Tyson's ass out of there, it would be okay. Because there was a part in there where he turned on the camera when they interviewed him before the fight, man, and there it was, baby. I mean, we all just couldn't. That was probably the most funniest thing in the whole fight, the whole night, was that deal, man. Yeah, Brandon, your dad's right. It was horrible. It was not, like I said, I was not entertained. I'm sorry. I was not entertained. I was very disappointed at the way it went, knowing what I saw before the fight and the guy that was practicing, sparring, working in the ring, and the pace that he had, the timing he had, the whole thing, everything was the old Tyson from his prime, man. Timing, pace of his rounds, everything was great. Wasn't the same guy that showed up on Friday night by any means. It was not. So very disappointing. Anyway, listen, I know you guys are probably wondering what about 10-4 and everything going on with 10-4. Everything's good. The usual suspects are hard at it. Dan's working at the magazine, getting that going, and still probably recovering from the 10-4 Trucker Rodeo and Show. Jamie, thanks for chiming in, man. Always great to have you. Good luck on Diversion for the Hallmark Channel there to you, brother. And say hello to your lovely wife for me. I appreciate that. And happy Thanksgiving if we don't see you or talk to you next week, which incidentally, we will be doing. Well, I think we'll be doing a show next Wednesday. I may be driving either that day or Tuesday, so we'll figure that out next week. But I'm going to be headed down south. And Ron, as far as the W9, no, there's nothing in stone on that. I haven't heard anything that has changed from where it was. And at one point it was like, well, if guys keep ordering, and we'll keep making them. I would like to, well, not like to, but I would think by the end of this year they're probably going to be done. Eric Hill, good knowledge. 60 million people have viewed the fight. Yeah, now they have, right? How many tried on Friday night during the live broadcast? Randy, great to have you on the show. If we don't see you next week, buddy, best to you and your family, and a happy Thanksgiving as well. 60 million views for the fight. So I wonder if they're basing that on just 60 million for the fight, for the whole event program, or what. I mean, probably you break it down, but I would imagine that 60 million applies to that in any way, shape, or form, which could be, 5 seconds, 5 minutes, or, 5 hours, whatever. But I don't doubt it, Eric. Don't doubt it at all. Everybody that couldn't see the fight, they, that had problems, they're watching it now, or have since, that night, and it's been on, and everybody can watch it without the server crashing on Netflix. But yeah, crazy night. Anyway, yeah, back to 10-4 and back to what's going on. So new magazine will be coming out. We're going to be close. I'm thinking the end of next week, if I'm not mistaken, by the calendar, or the first of the following, will be the new magazine out. And if you guys haven't got subscribed now, hey, listen, let me early shopping, Black Friday special. Pay for 12 magazines, get 12 magazines. So get your subscription for your favorite trucker, for yourself, whoever is in your life that you think would enjoy a subscription to 10-4 magazine. As I always say, the magazine will come to you just like it does me in a beautiful clear plastic jacket, and that is right off the press. So when it's printed, it goes right into this, and they put your address on the back and send it on up to you wherever you're at, and you can get one of those every single month. December 2nd. Thanks, Shan. Uh, well, Ron, that is something. Yeah, let me just say, Ron, 589 is coming up for a cover. I'm sure there is. I just can't tell you when or who. And I mean, you could pick any truck that's out there pretty much, and it might make the cover of 10-4 magazine. But listen, the 589 is where we're at, guys. So like it or not, it is where we're at. And not a bad looking truck. Always, there's changes. Listen, we went from 359 to 389 to, now it's the 300s are done. There are no more 300s. It's all 500s. So 589 is it, right? But that being said, yeah, there's any number of different trucks that can make the cover at any time. There's only 12 a year that'll make it, one a month, and then there's all the featured stories on the inside that are really good stories and really nice trucks too. Believe me, and our motto and feeling is that every truck is credit cover worthy, but there's just only so much that so many of them we can do, and you get one a month, 12 a year. That's it. At least our magazine's out there every single month. And it will continue to do that and be there for you. So, EW Thorpe, is it EM Thorpe? Anyway, the Thorpe show was last weekend. I don't know if anybody made it up there to that one, but it looked like it was pretty good from the photos I saw that were shot. And another good one, man. It's a good show. For us, we were done at the end of the rodeo. We were done. That was our last show of the year. So hopefully we had somebody up there, and we'll have more to talk about, and of course the upcoming shows that are going to be in 2025. Yeah, Semi-Casual has done it. And Ron, there's a lot of builders. There's a lot of builders out there. Jay, thanks for dropping by, buddy. Happy Thanksgiving. Appreciate you coming in and hanging with us. There's anyway, you know what? We're about out of time, and I had fun talking about the things we covered today. Next week we'll try to get our cover guys on if that's possible, because otherwise we're going to miss them. So I want to make sure we get him in here, and that's Ken Stearns, who has this beautiful 75 logger on the front here of the November edition. Great colors for November too on that truck. It's just a perfect fit. Dan always does a great job of putting the colors together. But next week, guys, we'll have a show, and I'm not sure yet if we'll do something ahead of time or the day of Wednesday. If I'm not traveling Wednesday, then we can do it on Wednesday and get everybody together and try to have a nice little Thanksgiving Eve show. And we've done that in the past, and I think we're due for another one. So thanks everybody for tuning in. Appreciate it. I love everybody's feedback today. I like it when we got an active audience and everybody chimes in. Hey, Ron, Pomona would be a cool spot for TFK, except for the fact that Pomona can't have any more shows. And I don't mean any more shows at their track ever. They can't add to the shows that they already have approved at that track. It basically that for lack of better words is that Pomona is landlocked. NHRA is lucky to be able to do what they do there. And if you and I'm curious to see what's going to happen after this last weekend and the plane crash, and if they just finally say, yeah, we're done by some way to end whatever events that are there. And if you didn't hear about it, there's an airstrip, and the flight path takes you right over the track and into the airport. Well, plane came up short and went into where the RVs are parked at, and that's where it landed and crashed. That's all I know. But yeah, man. I hope that's not the case. I hope they get past that and can still host the events that they do have there, because just such a huge part of California motor racing history, drag racing history, and sporting events like that. So hope it's still there. Brandon, great question. We will get back to everybody about Trucking for Kids, when and where it's going to be very soon. We're getting the details together on that. There's been some meetings that have taken place and conversation as to where with the people that we need to talk to, and the when. I think we're still pretty much locked in on that when being the first week in May. Hopefully that's still standing true. If not, as soon as we have that information to share with everybody, we will do so. All right, everybody. Listen, we'll see you next week. Keep the shiny side up. Thanks for tuning in. Great audience. You guys are always awesome. Thanks always for being a part of the Studio 10-4 Live weekend, Wednesday update, weekly update. I want to get that out correctly. And thanks to this week and Lifetime Nut Covers. Appreciate them, and always being a part of 10-4 magazine and sponsoring stuff that we do, and bringing stuff to you guys like we do from the truck shows live. And that's all from people like Lifetime. Great products. Get your truck looking shiny. They're the final touch on all the bolts and the nut heads that are out there. Put that into play any way you want. All right, guys, take care. We'll talk to you next week.